Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports FanaTAKE with Heaven Hollywood and Wonder Kid Prime. And of course, I am Wes, aka the Director. What's going on, y'all? Yeah, represent your team.
Come on, you know what time it is out here. You know what time it is over here. We got chips. We got
chips and dip. No,
we got chips.
That's all
Stop
we got.
Playing with me. We got chips. We got banners, my guy.
Y'all got chips. We got dip.
Yeah, we got banners. That guy can talk about the banners too, but most of his banners in black and white.
We got the banners, baby.
Most of his banners in black and white, though.
Title or bust. If we don't win the Super Bowl, for me the season was a failure.
All I know is my team's championships. All their banners are in HD. I don't know if everybody can speak on that, but mine are all
I know I can't speak on no.
Yeah, they're all in HD.
Y'all bring the chips. I'll bring the dip. We'll go from there. Yo, welcome everybody to the Sports FanaTAKE. You know, we back. It's football season.
Yes,
we're
sir.
here.
Yes.
This is our preview. This
About
is our
time.
football preview show. Tomorrow is the day, people, where football is back. 2000.
Long awaited, the longest freaking. It's football. Yeah, football is the longest wait.
It takes the longest break
out of all the three sports.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful. It's downright disrespectful.
But I mean, you know,
because they take the most.
They deserve it. They deserve it. They 100% deserve it.
They take the most.
They deserve it.
So, anywho, we got a lot to talk about, you know, for a preview for tomorrow and the rest of the season. We'll talk about the matchup tomorrow, the first game, which is Kansas City will be hosting, I believe.
Yeah, Detroit.
The Detroit Lions. Now,
Super Bowl team always gets the Lions home game,
and we'll just jump right on into that. You know, let's get to the first game, and kind of talk about what's your thoughts on that. Now, Kansas City, of course, is the reigning champions. They will be opening up hosting the Detroit Lions, who actually closed very well last season. The end of the last few games of the season, they finally kind of clicked, you know. Yeah. And they started, you know, they closed very well. Jared Goff got something going. He got a groove going, and you know, it just seems like they finally just clicked the last few games of the season. So coming into this season, people are real high on them. I don't know. What do you guys think? You know, the lineup is Jared Goff obviously at quarterback. You know, you have St. Brown and Jones as the receivers, right?
Yeah,
they're the main guys there. This guy, Jay Reynolds as well. Then you got Sam. What was that? Laporta. Now
he's a rookie.
He replaced Hawkinson, who came to the Vikings.
Yeah, he just got drafted this year. He's a lot of upside for him. I mean, if you guys are looking for a tight end stream in fantasy, Sam Laporta, take a look at him, guys. Just trust me, he's a talented guy. And his college, they produce tight ends. So
okay, that's what's up. So that's maybe why everybody's so excited about him. Of course, Pat Mahomes on the other side leading the charge. You got, you know, other highlight, of course, Travis Kelce, big highlight here, might be out. It's still listed as questionable. So let's see if he's going to play. They lost Juju, right? Juju moved on to another team.
Juju got his ring and got up out of there.
Got his ring, now we got
and he came to us.
Yeah, he came to y'all.
All right, he's on New England.
So
he'll return to superstar form in New England. Watch.
I would sure hope so. Because if not, he's going right back to the Steelers.
I'm gonna start by asking you, gentlemen, this. We all know all the hoopla that all these stations are talking about. They're real high on Detroit. I'm gonna remain unbiased from this. I'm gonna remove myself from it because it's hard for me to be unbiased. But are you guys buying? Are you buying into Detroit this year? And do they have a good chance, bad chance, or okay chance of beating Kansas City this tomorrow?
That's a good
One, I'm buying in.
Okay.
And two, I think they have a very good chance of upsetting Kansas City, and I'll tell you why. First thing, I'm buying in. I'm not buying in that they have a chance to make the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But I do think the Lions do have a good chance this year of possibly winning their division and hosting a play. They could end, like, if I go through their schedule, I gotta really go through their schedule, and they got a pretty favorable schedule too.
Yeah, better than ours, that's for sure.
So they could end up 12 if everything breaks right for them. I think, and the main thing is they have a rebuilt offensive line. They have a great offensive line now, and they have a couple of stars on their line. And I think Jared Goff, the last time he was behind a good offensive line is when he was on the Rams, and he ended up in the Super Bowl. I think Jared Goff has to be behind a very top 5 defensive offensive line in order for him to be effective.
Okay.
I was very impressed with what's his name, Saint
Brown.
Saint Brown.
St. Brown.
Very impressed with him last year. This guy came out of nowhere.
Brown, right?
He is a beast. Ross St. Brown. He is a beast.
Brown,
He's got size. He's got hands. He's got speed.
Take a look at.
I do wish they would have re-signed Jamal Williams. He was money for them last year in the red zone, and I thought them having Swift last year kind of interfered with his touches. He had 12, I think, rushing touchdowns with Swift in the mix. Now they lost Swift to Philly, and then they lose him. So I gotta see what happens in that running back slot.
Right.
But I think because of the only reason why, if Kelsey doesn't play, I think they have a shot of if Kelsey plays, and let's see if he's 50%, 60%, it's going to be tough. But if Kelsey is 80%, and they're playing where? They're in Kansas City, right? Yeah. It's still going to be tough. But, yeah, I'm buying in, and I think I give them a shot at an upset.
Okay. Prime, what do you think?
Right around the same thing. I mean, personally, I would buy in on the Lions. I'm not gonna right now say they're gonna win their division. I'm not gonna, but I will say I believe they're gonna make the playoffs. I'm willing to die in that boat. Yeah, and it's partly because I truly do believe in what the Lions have built, what Dan Campbell's built, the players they have there. Brad Holmes, what he's done as a GM, and Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator. I think he's crafted a great scheme. But it's also the NFC just isn't that strong. I mean, in comparison to what the AFC has, in my opinion.
Oh man, yeah.
So when you look at that, we'll touch more on that in the playoff section. But I just don't think it's as strong, and I think it's a lot easier path to get your way into it. They could win the division, but that's really dependent on, I feel like, the Lions versus the Vikings. What's gonna happen there? But I like what they built. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a dog, absolute dog. I like bringing back Marvin Jones, savvy veteran. He was a great player for the Lions before. He played pretty well in Jacksonville the last 2 years, amid some injuries, but he's a really solid option. I like Sam Laporte, the rookie. I actually like what they did in the backfield. I know Jamal Williams had a pretty good year, and then shout out to him because he's a great dude. But I think that that was probably his ceiling. And as great as it was, I don't know if that's a ceiling that's very attainable every year, And I did agree, like Swift kind of was getting in the way of the flow, but when they signed David Montgomery away from the Bears, decent bag, strong bag, breaks a lot of tackles, and then you spend the 12th pick in the draft on Jahmyr Gibbs, fast back, pass catcher, run the ball from Alabama.
Yeah,
I think they're building something there. I think they wanted a better fit I think they wanted their main guy to be a better fit for that team, and I'm willing to grant them grace and give them a second on the whole thing with Jamal Williams because I just don't think he's gonna replicate. I think he had 18 touchdowns actually last year. Like I don't think he's gonna replicate that.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Like
he went
that's
off.
crazy.
He went off.
But like,
and he's where New Orleans now, right?
He's in New Orleans, and not saying it's impossible, but I'm a Patriots fan. I watched LeGarrette Blount score I think like 19 touchdowns for us one year, and then the Steelers signed him for a bunch of money the next year, and he was cut after like 2 games. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It doesn't always correlate. Those goal line vulture backs, it's tough for them to always get that. So
sometimes it's the team, sometimes it's the thing.
And with today, I just personally, I do think they have a chance of beating them, and I think it's a decent chance just because this is football and anybody can beat anybody. But at the end of the day, you always got to go with the best player. So I'm not picking against Patrick Mahomes until Patrick Mahomes deems it allowable. Because at this point, the dude's a dog. So I think I think they have a decent chance of beating them. But if Kelsey plays at all, they will lose. Because
as long as he suits up, you think it's a wrap.
If he gets on the field for 7 snaps, they'll win this game. Listen, real quick. Last year, I want to say it was Kansas City versus Seattle. I might be wrong, or maybe it was the Chargers. They're playing somebody, and Kelsey was banged up. The man had like 5 catches for like 17 or 27 yards.
But 4 touchdowns. I think it was Seattle.
4 touchdowns. Yeah.
That is not something you can game plan for. If that man is in the game and healthy enough to play those snaps,
he's
a
threat.
Win this game. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, if he's in the game. Now, I'm going to say I have the schedule up here. I'm running it down as you guys were talking. Their schedule does look it does look pretty favorable, and it definitely looks a little easier than my team's schedule. So you starting off with Kansas City.
I think that's 2 L's.
That could be 2 L's. It's very could be 2 L's.
They might beat Seattle.
But then they're home
because
for the
losing
Falcons.
to Seattle is why they missed the playoffs this year because they lost to Seattle early in the year. So they might beat Seattle.
I think they're gonna beat them. But
home for the Falcons.
They'll beat them
at Green Bay. Home for
they should beat
Carolina.
Them.
At Tampa Bay.
They should beat them.
At Baltimore.
They'll lose.
And they're home for Las Vegas.
They'll destroy them.
At their bye week, and then you got at Chargers.
That's such a game for the Chargers to win, even though they're going to be mid. But
and it's after the All-Star break. After the break, after the bye, they're going to lose it.
They're going to lose to the Chargers.
They're going to lose.
Justin Herbert
at home, they're going to lose that game.
Right. Then they're home for the Bears. Home for the Packers.
Should win
at New Orleans.
They might lose
at Bears late in the season.
They might lose that
in December in Soldier Field.
I also think the Bears are going to be putting it together. I think they'll be on a similar track to what the Lions were last year.
They're starting to put it together. Then Denver Broncos at home, and they don't play the Vikings. They play them almost 2 weeks in a row at Minnesota. Then they're at Dallas, and then they're home for Minnesota. That's
a tough last 3 games.
NFL schedule makers know exactly what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. They're setting it up.
That's going to be for the division. That's going to be for the division.
That's going to be for the division. So I'm going to just say my quick thought on that is I'm trying to say this without being biased, but I don't give a damn. I got to see it to believe it. The Vikings are going to win this division. You got to show me otherwise, sir. Over there in Detroit, but I think Detroit will definitely be right. It'll be the Vikings and Detroit fighting for like you just said. This schedule, the way the schedule looks, that very well might be for the division.
Yeah, like that's
Vikings
probably the most
tough games on our schedule. We're playing.
That's gotta be the most important 3-game stretch for the Lions.
Yeah.
Vikings twice and Dallas once.
Guys, but I mean, it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough.
You guys are clearly playing. Let's see. Go through that one more time. You guys are playing the NFC South.
NFC South, right? Yeah.
And you're playing what, the AFC West?
AFC West, yeah. Kansas City and them, yeah.
So I mean, like that's Well, I mean, the thing is this: the schedule for all of you guys is somewhat decent because the NFC South is dog water. Let's be real. So ain't nobody worried about the NFC South.
NFC
That's
South.
like
That's
AFC
true.
West is pretty good, but the NFC South is dog water. So at least you guys could probably all salvage 4 wins from that.
Yeah. So maybe we can. And then our own division ain't all that. We got 2 teams. But like I said, so never sleep on the Bears at Soldier Field. That's number 1. And I think they are going to put something together with their new with the quarterback.
They made some moves.
He is a threat on the ground. You know, so
I'm definitely not a fan, but we'll discuss that another time for another day.
So yeah, okay. So the rest of the schedule going forward, let's see. We get any other schedule lineups here, NFL schedules. And okay, for week 1. Okay.
Sidebar, out of that first game, I'm just letting all of our guys, our fantasy people know my fantasy players to watch in that game. Sam Laporta, spoke on him earlier. Give a lot of love to Sky Moore over in Kansas City. He's going to pick up a lot of those quick targets over there. And deep cut for my fantasy dynasty guys, Justin Ross. Used to play for Clemson. He's a dog. He was hurt last year. It's going to be a big year.
Everybody out there, when you got your fantasy teams, let's see how they do. But so September 10th will be the Sunday lineups. That's when the big lineup goes on. 1 o'clock games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 1 o'clock games. Going there. Woo, they're starting nice and heavy. Okay, so we'll go quick down the line. Quick. Panthers, Falcons. Who you got?
Who cares?
Who cares?
I'm taking the Panthers.
Okay. Panthers. Okay. We got Texans and Ravens. Another who cares, but yeah, Ravens are gonna probably win.
Ravens
at home.
Got the Ravens.
Bengals at Browns. That's I guess is Joe. I have not seen the report. Is Joe? Joe Cool? Is he playing?
He was at practice.
So he's at practice. They're saying that he right now is the game time decision. I'll tell you this: with a full season, with that quarterback in Cleveland. If Joe Burrows doesn't play, I'm taking the Browns for an upset.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is what's his name?
Now we've got a full season. Now
he's got a full season. Yeah, not
Watson.
Watson. He's not suspended. He's there for the full season.
Yeah, if Cincinnati comes out there without Joe Burrows, I believe Cleveland will win that game.
Yeah, without Joe Burrow, if Joe Burrow walks out there, I don't give a damn about no Deshaun Watson. But if Joe Burrow's not there, sure. I guess Watson can do his thing.
Yeah, all right, Massage Watson. Happy ending Watson, all right. And then you got Jaguars. This is my sleeper team this year. Keep an eye on the Jags. I love that quarterback over there. I really like the young guy, Lawrence. They might get some wins this year. They're at the Colts. Let's see.
Colts with a rookie quarterback.
I mean, that should be the Jags.
Yeah, they should.
That should be the Jags.
Jonathan Taylor's out.
Yeah.
I believe not even Moss is starting. I believe the guy, what's his last name? Parker, maybe? No, it's not Parker. He's going to be starting at running back. Now the Colts, I don't know. It always looks like the Colts had a pretty. It looks like they brought back David Rivers. Not David Rivers, Phillip Rivers 1 year too late. I think the roster they had the year after Rivers, they should have had Rivers.
Yeah.
The year after Rivers came and pretty much did what he did. Phillip Rivers is going to play just good enough to get to the playoffs, and then
And not good enough
Man,
to do anything
like
after that. Yeah.
like he throwing a shot put. That guy
Right,
throws a
but
football.
the year after that,
He
they
got
had a
40
much better
kids.
combined roster when they put that bum Carson Wentz. I told people he was a bum. Put Carson Wentz there, and he just destroyed their season.
Yeah.
Sidebar:
So-
Carson Wentz and Trey Lance are single-handedly destroying North Dakota State's freaking football program because people are never going to want to play quarterback for them. They're like, these guys
Yeah,
suck.
like, oh
I wanna
man,
go to
these
the
guys
Carson
suck.
Wentz, man, what a disappointment. But
Yeah, disappointment.
I got the Jaguars too.
I got the Jags on that. So then the Vikings will be hosting the Buccaneers. No Tom Brady. I'm sorry. We need to beat that team.
I will never
I think
in
the
my life.
Vikings will destroy that team. I think
I will
Tampa.
never
I got
in my life
Tampa
bet on
Bay.
Baker Mayfield. I will never bet on Baker Mayfield, and that's the starting quarterback for the Bucs.
Right,
So-
good point. But Baker Mayfield, Skip Bayless is
I will
adopted
take
son.
the
I think the
Vikings.
Buccaneers are one of the 3 worst teams in the NFL.
Mhm.
They don't
Yeah.
have their Mike Evans situation, still ain't straightened out.
Nope.
Goodwin, pulls a muscle every time he burps.
Who's
I mean, it's just nothing going on over there.
who's traded for
I
Mike
think
Evans?
they're one of the 3rd worst, one of 3 worst teams in the NFL.
Who's
Yeah.
trading for Mike Evans is the only question I care about for the Bucs this year.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what they
Who's
need.
gonna
Yeah, get
take a
him out of there.
flyer? Who's gonna
Get him
throw
out of
throw a
there.
first? Who's gonna throw a second or a third over to them and say, "Hey, give me
Let
Mike
me get
Evans.
him,
He's not
yeah.
resigning with you anyway."
Get him out of there. Okay, Titans at the Saints.
Who cares?
What you call it went
Oh,
over to
Lord.
the Titans, didn't he? Didn't Deion
Deontay Hopkins. And
the
here's
corpse of
another thing. I don't
Deontay
mean to cut
Hopkins.
anybody off, but I have such a problem, especially when I got him in fantasy. I have a problem with quarterbacks that hinder great receivers. Ryan Tannehill ran Brown out of Tennessee pretty much because he couldn't give him the ball. And then he goes over to Philly last year and look what he does.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised Hopkins went.
now Deontay Hopkins is there. And I know that the only good thing they can look forward to is now I don't know I'm sure he's lost his step. He's 30 now. But Hopkins has always got his numbers even with trash quarterbacks. Even with trash quarterbacks. So Tannehill's not trash.
Right.
I mean he's okay.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's mid.
Yeah. He's
But
mid.
I'll tell you what is
they're
trash.
at the Saints, and
That
the Saints is David Carr this year, right?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. Michael Thomas, from what they say, is back to Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Now let's just say if that is the case, that may be a tough game.
That might be.
I
a
don't
tough
want to
game
see
from them.
nothing about Mike Thomas. Chris Olave is the guy in New Orleans. They're gonna get the ball to Chris Olave. He's gonna eat. I personally don't believe in the Titans at all. I think Ryan Tannehill's done. If he ever started,
If he even.
I think I think the rest of their weapons are terrible. D Hop, I don't know what he has left. Personally, just from a competitive standpoint, I'm kind of like, why would you sign with the Titans? Kind of a weird move. I guess if it's just about money, it's about money, bro.
Maybe it was just a money thing because
Yeah,
I don't know
just
why.
say it's about
Nobody
money.
else
That's
wanted to
cool.
sign.
Yeah,
that could be a
sign
good
up for the
point.
money that he
Why
wanted.
were you left with the Titans? How come people
Why?
weren't
Saying,
jumping
like,
on
Titan, you mean
jumping on that?
Nobody
people
offered you
should have been.
comparable money, like no actual team. You mean tell me you went to
Maybe
see the
what he
Bills?
wanted.
You went to see the Bills and Josh Allen didn't tell them to offer something close to that. There's no way. So personally, I don't know how much is left with that. I don't believe in Tennessee in any facet of the game aside from coaching. I think Mike Vrabel's a great coach. But other than that, I don't really. And Derrick Henry is an animal. But other than that, I mean, look, they're not built to stop this team, in my opinion. Chris Olave is going to eat. I think they have a decent amount of backs to make up for Alvin Kamara not being there.
Right.
If Mike Thomas is Mike Thomas again, which I don't know about that. It's been like 8 years. Then they're going to dog him. So it won't be a problem.
They'll probably beat
and
him
New
down.
Orleans has an underrated defense. They'll be fine.
Yeah, and we'll jump to the Steelers and then we'll jump on down because some of these in between games aren't important. Steelers will be hosting the San Francisco 49ers.
I got the
Um,
Steelers in this one actually.
Steelers are home for that. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's very because the Niners. Okay, they just got Bosa signed, and he will be in the game. From what the coach said, he'd literally have to have a big beer belly to not play in this game. So he's going to play. I guess that's them saying he's going to play in the game. However, the Steelers look really good over the preseason. Their defense is looking back, close to, Steeler type of defense. And their offense is moving. So, the kid, he's still, Pickett, that's his name, right? He's, hometown kid. Let's see. He looks like he's starting to get a little comfortable. What do now we obviously having is a lifelong Steeler fan. How do you truly feel about try to address this without emotion? How do you feel about the Steelers' chances of beating the 49ers?
I think we're in trouble.
In trouble.
I'm not a big I'm gonna hope for the best. I'm not a big Pickett fan. I'm not big on the running, even though a lot of people like him. I don't really like the running back. Even though people swear, I think he's a little overrated.
Most of.
And he has to get these. We're facing the same issue that we've had like over the last 5 years since Ben have not been able to throw. We've let wide receivers, very talented wide receivers, walk out the door because they weren't of any use because Ben couldn't throw the ball the last 3 years of his career.
Right.
So we saw Claypool walk out the door. We saw the guy, the real talented dude that got into trouble, had the braids, and then I think he went to like Oakland after that, and then the Jaguars. His career was finished.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Martavis Bryant.
Yeah, Martavis Bryant. This dude had unbelievable talent and potential.
Yeah.
And it's like the first year Ben was able to throw the ball, he had around 900 yards or something. He played sparingly. He didn't even play a full season.
Yeah.
And then it's after that, he's out the door. Another guy who looked very promising last year was Chase Claypool. He went over to the Bears to another guy who can't throw, and he's pretty much a non-factor. So I have to see what our quarterback can give us this year. Of course, you always got to rely on your defense, as we say every year. Steelers rely on probably who I'm going to call him, be biased, call him the best defensive player in football. I think TJ is the best defensive player in football. Right. We'll see. I'm not very high as far as this season, but Mike Tomlin, he goes behind that.
He always seems to figure
that camouflage. He's never had a losing season. Right. I mean, so.
But I mean, he's never had a losing season.
We'll see. I'm looking at them right now as an 8-8 team, or was it 9-8? 17 games now.
8-9, 9-8, one of the two.
Yeah, 8-9, 9-8. That's the way I see it.
And
then we'll see. We'll see.
I think they got a better chance of doing well. I think they have a chance of winning this game because, again, it's football, but also because I think that they're built in a way that could help them beat San Francisco. San Francisco's coming. Look, Brock Purdy just had surgery on his UCL. Like, that's like Tommy John surgery, right? Like, that's like freaking pitchers take like years to come back from that. So, like, it's not like he's just going to come back and start throwing the ball like Dan Marino. Not that he was before. I mean, he's not like a big RPD. But they have a lot of weapons there, obviously.
They do.
What I do think is if Pittsburgh goes out there with the defense they have, if their offense can just deal a few punches, they'll be fine. And in my opinion, I think they could. I like Pat Fryer moving tight end. I like George Pickens at receiver.
Yeah.
I think Allen Robinson coming over. I think he's going to be a better number 2 here than he was on the Rams last year. I just think that Rams team was just like everybody was hurt, so I don't know. But I think he'll do better here. I don't really like Najee Harris too. I think he's pretty overrated, but he's going to get the ball a lot.
You know how they steal a football.
And I don't mind Pickett. I will say this though. I think Heaven's wrong. One thing. Not only is T.J. Watt not the best defensive player in football, and not only is he not the best defensive player in his own family, he's not the best defensive player on the Steelers either. Because that is my man Minkah Fitzpatrick. Don't nobody play like Minkah Fitzpatrick. And that will be the end-all be-all if they win this game. Minkah Fitzpatrick will make a play, whether it be a forced fumble and recovery, a super score, a pick six. He's going to make a play. The best. I don't know if you heard that. Have T.J. Watt is not the best defensive player in football.
Oh, you think it's Minkah?
Yep, he's not the best defensive player in his family. He's not the best defensive player on the Steelers. That's Minkah. Minkah's that dude, and that's it.
Right? One thing about the Steelers, they do have playmakers in the secondary. Now, I think Patrick Peterson is finished, but he's not a bum.
Yeah,
I mean, like I think his best days is past him.
Yeah,
but I think he can still make a play here or there. So
he made plays for as bad as our defense and secondary was. Most of the time there was a big play made, it was him. He was involved in it. So he still playmakers are gonna be able to make plays. That sounds stupid, but it's true. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So so let's jump down to what I think is going to be interesting. The Dolphins and the Chargers. I think the Dolphins, I'm very interested to see how the Dolphins fare now with their quarterback back in there. I think he was having almost an MVP type of season before he got hurt. The guy, the Dolphins guy, Tua. So I don't know. I mean, Chargers. You know how I feel about the Chargers.
This guy does not like the Chargers.
I am sick and tired of the Chargers, and I'm tired of hearing how great the Chargers. I've been hearing this for the longest. When are they going to show their greatness? They always seem to spit the bit, and I'm tired of wasting breath on them.
Same thing with the quarterback. I just seen a quarterback's rankings that had him ranked higher than Hurts, and I was like, "What the hell has this guy done?"
They've done this from the beginning too. Like they fell in love with the way he throws the ball.
What the hell is he done?
They love.
But is he a winner?
Yeah, like how can you rank somebody over guys with the Super Bowl?
When he throws the ball? He has a great form. He looks great, and he is a good quarterback. But yeah, how do you rank him above Jalen Hurts? How do you rank him?
He just went to the Super Bowl.
Just went to the Super Bowl. Almost won. Yeah, went to the Super Bowl.
Almost won, and came in second in MVP voting.
Had a good chance of winning. So come on now. If it was, anybody else in that spot, Jalen Hurts is a champion. It's just the fact that he was playing against a freak of nature, Patrick Mahomes.
Just the fact that his corner held the damn receiver, because if they would have got the ball back with actual time, he probably would have won.
Probably would have won.
Shoot, if I'm being honest, he might have won the damn game if he had won last with some time.
I'm gonna go right in there and say that the Dolphins will upset the Chargers. Not upset, but kind of, because they're at home. So I think the Chargers are gonna be favored, I'm sure. I'm going with the Dolphins in that game. I think they're gonna come out there.
I'm gonna go Dolphins.
I'm going Chargers. Even with us talking about that.
Now, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, that's a track meet.
That is Waddle.
It's trouble. But Waddle is banged up, so I'm not sure whether
he might be
played the first game. Might be waddling. Chargers are gonna be house full of fire. They got all their pieces back for a change. You're gonna finally see everybody healthy for the Chargers. It's probably only gonna last a game or two. So
We've heard that before. I don't know. I feel like I hear that this is the year. Everyone's healthy.
You know what it's sounding like? It's
And then
starting to
week
sound
7,
like the
they're
LA
dead.
Clippers. They're starting to sound like the LA Clippers.
This is the
We
year.
finally got our whole team play. You know, everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
Or let's just say a Doc Rivers
Chargers
team.
most definitely, Los Angeles. Clearly, don't go to Los Angeles to get any type of medical help because you might run into a doctor from the Chargers or the Clippers. Because good Lord, they might as well just sign Kawhi Leonard, give him money, give him some more money.
Give him some more
sit
money.
at home.
Exactly. So I'm going with the Dolphins. All right, next game, Patriots and the returning. I mean not the returning champions, but they were Super Bowl NFC champions at the Patriots. Just one, and we're gonna get to our little segment before we go off and talk about a little bit more in depth with our teams. How we feel about them. Patriots are still in a rebuilding phase. Obviously, Prime, you are the Patriot expert here, and how are you feeling about what they're going through right now? First of all, your quarterback, who's seemed to be, to me, mid at best.
At best.
Nah, I really thought you were about to give him a compliment.
I wasn't gonna say he's not trash. He's definitely not trash.
He's not trash.
He's definitely not trash. I kind of like him, but I mean, do you feel him, being the guy that's gonna get y'all back to some sort of glory, or do you just, y'all just kind of he's passing by?
Nah, I mean, like if you're asking if I get that like feeling, like when you really feel like you got the quarterback, right? Nah, I don't feel that. 100% don't feel that. But I also don't live in the thought process that like.
I mean, he's got such a
I
thing
believe
that's follow.
I believe it is possible to create a quarterback you can win with.
Yes,
I don't think it's possible to create a franchise quarterback that can carry your team and be great
year
for
after
15 years.
Right.
I think it's possible to create a quarterback you can win with. Yeah. I think people like Andy Reid have done it for years.
Yeah.
No disrespect to what's his name? McNabb, Donovan McNabb, but I personally never thought that highly of Donovan McNabb. I thought of McNabb as a guy that Andy Reid knew exactly how to get the
he knows how to make it
out
of it. He did it with the other guy too. What was the guy he just had? What was that guy he had
Alex
in between
Smith.
that? Alex Smith. Yeah, he was winning with Alex Smith.
He got Kevin Kolb a gigantic contract. You know what I mean? Nick Foles, he got him a gigantic contract.
Yeah.
So look, don't get me wrong. I think that you can do that with quarterbacks, and I do think that Mac has the makeup of a quarterback you can do that with. He's a smart quarterback. Yeah. He's accurate. He knows how to read defenses. And if you put the right talent around him, like you've seen at Alabama, when you have talent around the guy, he can win, and he can play at a high level. I don't think he's a world beater, and I don't personally have too high of prospects for him in general. Yeah. I see him maybe leading us to the playoffs 2 or 3 times. I don't know if he even gets a second contract here, just because that's just how the Patriots operate. But in terms of this game, I think we have a better chance of winning than people think. I think we're gonna lose, but I think we have a better chance of winning than people think. No, for real, because
be real, man.
If there's a coach out there who, since the end of the season, since the schedule has come out, has not left a cave where he was game planning, it's Bill Belichick. So I fully expect to go into this game and it be a low-scoring game. I don't think Philly's putting 40 on us. I don't think we're getting destroyed.
And y'all's defense is pretty much bad.
Yeah. Now, look, if we do get destroyed, I was wrong. Whatever. Win a shot. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a closer game. I think Philly wins the game maybe 13 by about 13. I could see maybe a 23-10, maybe a 20-10. I don't think it's gonna be something crazy. Overall, I think it just comes down to Philly has too much talent.
They just got too much talent.
And
I think they're gonna get better. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be better this season.
Oh hell yeah, he's definitely gonna be better. I think he's winning MVP, but I mean that's besides the point. But yeah, I think Philly's got too much talent. But I do think New England is gonna trend they're getting a lot of crap because last year, just the year before we were in the playoffs, but last year was pretty bad. Bill didn't hire an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Look, this year is all about his ego. If he's checked his damn ego, I think that they can be decent. If he hasn't checked his ego,
they're gonna be
him and Robert Kraft are gonna have a pretty ugly breakup pretty soon. So
yeah, I see. So then we'll end this section with let's jump to the Monday night game. Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. I said that surprisingly, I'm going to pick the Jets. I don't know why. I always like the Jets defense. That's number one. Bills defense is completely overrated to me, a little bit. Not completely, but a little bit overrated. But they'll be back. I think they don't have any major injuries.
I don't know if Von Miller is playing or not.
Vaughn's not playing.
I think they missed this shot.
You think they missed their shot altogether?
Yeah, I think their window might have closed.
I think the Bills are on their way down. I think they already hit. They've got all this problems with Diggs. He's in, he's out. He wants to be there. He doesn't want to be there. Now he's back there again this year.
Yeah, Diggs.
And
Diggs is
Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but I don't see Josh playing as well as he played 2 years ago. When they lost that game to Kansas City 2 years ago, when that game where they lost it, where they had the lead with 12 seconds left and they couldn't hold a lead for 12 seconds. I thought when he led down the field and led them to that touchdown, nobody thought that he was going to lead them to that touchdown. And then when he did, nobody thought that Mahomes with 12 seconds was going to be able to tie that game. And Buffalo's defense was a top 5 defense that year.
Yeah.
They kind of fell up last year. The whole sad debacle, with the kid cornerback. Right. I think that the Bills hit their ceiling.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that they're going to have. I can easily see the Bills going 10-7 this year. I think the Jets are going to win. I think the Jets are going to win.
I just think they're going to be excited. They're home.
They've got a solid defense. They got a solid roster, and now with Aaron Rodgers and some decent receivers.
Yeah,
I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I think they're going to win that game. And everyone knows I am not a Rodgers fan for obvious reasons. But the fact of the matter is, I do think that and they added Cook was a big deal because of the injury that they had to their other young running back. And
that kid was probably going to win the offensive rookie of the year when he got hurt.
Yeah, he was on a tear. I do like their defense is definitely solid, maybe more than solid. They're going to be out there trying to get it in. And then they brought in another receiver that Rodgers was with over in Green Bay, I think.
Yeah.
Two, Lazard and Randall Cobb.
Yeah, two Lazard. Not that he's great, but he's a person who is familiar with Rodgers.
I mean, he's 6'4" and he runs like a 4.5 or 4.4.
And
so, he's pretty damn big. Is it my turn? Can I hate?
Yeah.
Can I hate now? Okay. Yeah. No.
For obvious reasons.
If I'm gonna be 100% honest, I guess I would probably bet they'd win. I don't want them to. I wish this game would just get canceled. I don't even want to watch it. But I guess the Jets will win. But I will say this, and I'm gonna hate right now. I think their defense is going to regress. I don't think they're going to be what people think they're going to be this year because I think that defense will regress. They got a lot of quality snaps out of players that were playing over their head. Their second corner, DJ, what's his name? DJ what? DJ something. I can't think of his DJ Reed.
Yeah.
Played over his head. He was like a third corner in Seattle. Yeah. I am not saying that they're going to be terrible, but I think their defense will regress a bit. And I personally don't think Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers MVP or Aaron Rodgers? Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I don't think
Do
he
you
is.
think he's done? Do you think he is? Remember when Favre? I know you were younger, but
He's
I'm
not. No,
sure
he's not
I'm
far.
sure you're
No.
watching.
Yeah, he's not far
When
in a
Favre
way.
came back to the Jets,
No.
will Rodgers be at least that good?
He will be. Yeah, he'll be way closer to Favre at the first 8 games of the season than Favre the last 8 games of the season.
Right.
Definitely.
Favre was 6-2 and they hit a wall.
Yeah, like he got hurt and everything. He'll be better than that. I do think they'll probably make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just think, in my opinion, this is only a win if you win the Super Bowl because you've made the playoffs before. So this is only a win if you win the Super Bowl in one of the
Bringing him
years
in.
he's here.
Yeah.
I know Rodgers is like, oh, I'm going to be here for the next 5 years, 4 years, maybe 50. I don't believe any of that crap. Aaron Rodgers is the most wishy-washy player I've ever seen. He's Kyrie Irving of football. I don't want to believe this BS that he's going to be here. Give it a 4-game bad stretch. Let these guys lose in the first round of the playoffs to the
And he'll be
Ravens,
blaming them
to the
and be
Ravens by
looking for the
25.
exit.
Exactly.
He'll be saying
That's when
he turns into David Ruffin. Hi, I'm Aaron Rodgers, and these are the Jets.
These are the Jets. Yeah, David Ruffin. I'm sorry. I don't want to. I'm sorry. Personally, I don't think it works out well for them. I did think the Jets were a quarterback away. I did not think the quarterback was Aaron Rodgers because I think Aaron Rodgers towards the end of his career. I would have sent Baltimore every damn pick that I had for Lamar Jackson and bet on that because at least you got at the very least 10 years of that. You know what I mean? But so I don't know. I'll give the Jets the win there.
I saw this list here of the top 10 quarterbacks ranked here on this,
I bet you there's not an NFC quarterback in the top 5 unless his name is Hurts.
Yeah, I know, right? So they got Jared Goff at number 10. He's the NFC quarterback. They got Jared Goff at 10. They got Matthew Stafford at tied with
now
10.
Stafford is done.
Yeah, he's done. They got it tied at 10. They got Kirk Cousins. So there's a 3-way tie at 10. Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford, and Jared.
No, that's cheap.
Mid.
Mid.
That is exactly what I heard right there.
Got a 3-way tie at mid.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, Dak Prescott. He should be there too. Mid.
He should be a 4-way tie. Dak Prescott at 9. Trevor Lawrence at 8. Lamar Jackson at 7. They got Aaron Rodgers at 6. Jalen Hurts at 5. Justin Herbert at 4. Josh Allen at 3. Joe Burrow at 2, and of course Patrick Mahomes at 1.
Listen,
like I said before with Herbert, and I mean even Allen. I think Allen might.
I was just about to say
a little bit.
I'll be honest with you, and this is just
he's on the cover of Madden this year.
Yeah, I don't give a damn. So is Peyton.
And that's the jerk. He's on the cover of Madden this year.
Here's my opinion. Obviously, number 1 I think is non-negotiable is Patrick Mahomes. If you want to make the argument that number 2 should be Joe Burrow,
okay,
your argument has to be just based off of how you're watching him or what we call vibes or whatever.
Yeah,
like because he doesn't have the accomplishments that the other ones do. He has numbers, but he doesn't have the accomplishments like accolades. Josh Allen, to me, I'm sorry, he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league. Super talented. He's gonna put up numbers. I need to see you really do it when it counts. And yes, I know he had a chance to beat Mahomes, and I think that's the height of what they are right now. I don't think they're going to fall off for 10 years, but I think they're going to take a couple of years of having to reload. Personally, for me, it would go Mahomes and then probably Hurts because of what he's done. But my thing is this. Lamar Jackson is not in the top 5, and Lamar Jackson has an MVP?
Exactly.
Excuse me? So, what the hell has Justin Herbert done to be ranked higher than Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson?
They like the way this kid looks or something. He does look great throwing the ball and stuff, but
it's just
he's got great mechanics. But I don't know.
You know who Justin Herbert? Every time I watch football, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of early Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's talking about how great this guy looks throwing a football. And then when they lose, they're like, I can't believe this whole team messed up and Justin Herbert did everything by himself. Like, I used to watch the Packers play.
Yeah.
And I would see Aaron Rodgers throw 2 picks. rare occurrence, but if he
Yeah.
threw 2 picks after the game, they'd literally be on NFL Total Access at like 2 a.m, breaking down how the receiver came out of his cut a half second too late, and that's what caused the interception. I'm like, or maybe the dude threw an interception.
Maybe he just threw the interception.
There is an excuse.
The
Chargers
year that
gave
we
up 20 plus points
Yeah.
to the Jaguars. They were beating the Jaguars by multiple scores and lost to the Jaguars in the playoffs.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. And they still Justin Herbert doesn't play defense. He plays offense. He could have scored a couple more points.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm so sick of that crap.
Yeah.
Let's get to the damn predictions.
Yeah, let's get to the predictions, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so early predictions. In your opinion, gentlemen, who are the favorites or your favorite to go to the Super Bowl? First, we'll say go to, and also
go to.
win it.
I'll give my final 4.
Okay.
And then I'll give my. As of right now, I have. I'm going to assume that Joe Burrow at one point is going to be Joe Burrow. I think it's Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
They will be playing, of course, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think again for a rematch.
Mm-hmm.
And over in the NFC, I'm gonna be a little different. Over in the NFC, I like the Cowboys in the NFC, and I think they will play. Again. I don't know if they were Final Four last year, but I think they'll play the Eagles again in the Final Four. That's my Final Four teams. And I got a rematch of last year. I got Hurts and Hurts and Mahomes. This year, I have the Cincinnati Bengals beating Kansas City, because it's like this. At some point, he has to come up short. You cannot do this every year. Now this year he's got even less wide receivers. You can't. The guy is amazing. The guy is great, right? But we cannot throw out the fact against San Francisco. The dude got there. I'm bringing up Apollo Creed. The brother got damn lucky. He got lucky against the 49ers. Let's just keep it a buck. He got lucky against the 49ers. I'm not taking anything away from Mahomes, but I think he has a lot of lucky charms in his pocket in his football game.
Whoa.
A lot of things that break right for him. He's great. And of course with greatness comes luck. But yeah. I just, last year, not saying that they would have won, but the hit out of bounds, things like that always seem to go in his favor.
That was bad.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So at some point, you got to run out of luck when you don't have the players. How many years in a row can you do it with just you and a tight end that runs as slow as molasses? I mean, to me, he's great. I don't want people to think he's not great, but he's getting older. At some point, someone's going to say, "Hey guys, I got it. Let's triple Travis Kelce."
Let's see what else happens.
Has anybody ever thought of that? At some point, someone's going to think of that. Let's triple, not double.
Yeah.
Let's triple Travis Kelce.
Just leave another dude completely wide open. Don't even look at that dude on the left.
Don't even look at them dudes, man.
Yeah.
Don't even look at them dudes.
You know where it's going.
Because you know where it's going. And I get so frustrated. Not that I'm hating on Travis Kelce. I don't really like him. He's a cocky piece of you-know-what. I know all that stuff. But the guy's a great player. But at some point, it's like, you dudes aren't going to cover this guy? And look what he did without. I personally thought he was going to take a step back without his wide receiver. This dude was even more efficient.
Yeah.
without the wide receiver.
Mahomes is even more efficient.
I
So
mean, Mahomes
I
is
like the Bengals though. I do like the
I
Bengals
think the
and the
Bengals.
Eagles in the
You think
Super Bowl,
finally his
and I
luck,
think the Eagles will win.
his good luck may run out. Maybe this early injury to Kelsey might come back to bite them later in the season. Who knows? Yeah. Okay. So you got the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. You got them winning. You got them, or you got
No, I
hurt.
got the
he has
Eagles
the
winning.
Eagles. He has the
Eagles
Eagles.
winning this time around. Okay, that's fair. Prime, where you got? What's your final four?
My final four, personally, I think it's actually going to be surprise in the AFC. I think it's going to be Cincy versus Baltimore.
Think
I
they're gonna be
think
back?
You are high on that quarterback.
I think Baltimore is going to win their
They'll be
division,
back. Yeah.
and I
Yeah, they
think
definitely. Hold on.
Cincy's going to be the second team in the division, which will put Cincy at the 5 seed at the highest,
Yeah.
right? And because Mahomes and the Chiefs will probably have the 1 seed, I think it works in a way where Cincy beats whoever's the 4 seed,
Yeah.
and Baltimore beats whoever they play, and it ends up being Cincy versus KC in the divisional round. I think Cincy's going to beat them there. So I think it's going to be Cincy and Baltimore in the AFC Championship game. I have Cincy in that one. I am high on Baltimore though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm really high on Baltimore. I think that they've done exactly what they needed to. They finally went out there and got people for Lamar. I mean, I feel like people unfairly criticize him. I feel like if your quarterback was throwing to the guys that he was throwing to the last few years, he wouldn't be a big time throwing quarterback either. So personally, I think this is the year that they're gonna really step it up around him. I think he'll be able to really put up some numbers. So I think that's gonna be Cincy and Baltimore in the AC, giving Cincy that win. And then NFC, I think it's gonna be a rematch of the NFC Championship this year. I think it's San Fran and Philly. I mean, all respects to your team. I know the Vikings very near and dear to your heart. I don't think anybody in the NFC is playing on the same field that Philly and 49ers will be playing in. And from what the 49ers players said last year, after the injury to Purdy and after the game, they was talking so much about how they would have smoked Philly if Purdy played the whole game. Philly's trash. That defense is garbage. They would have ran up and down the field on them. And I'm gonna say this. Patrick Mahomes did carve that defense up like Thanksgiving. So they had 0 sacks in the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna sit here and say that what San Francisco was saying was without merit. So with that said, I think San Fran beats them. I think it's San Fran, Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. Throw back to Joe Montana versus Ken Anderson, all those guys' days. And I think Cincy gets the win. Kyle Shanahan, for some reason, forgets to coach football when he's in the Super Bowl. So I don't know. Like the second half, he forgets he's coaching football and he just phones it in. So I think Cincy, and I just think Joe Burrow, given the second chance at the Super Bowl, I don't think he passes that up. But I do think if Joe Burrow doesn't get back to the Super Bowl this year, I think it's actually done. I don't think they're getting back for a couple of years, at least a couple of years. Look, you can't pay both of those receivers unless you win a chip that convinces them to say, let's take a little bit off the top of each so that we can stay. If you don't win a chip, I'm sorry. Someone's going to throw $100 million at T. Higgins over 4 years and say, here, take all my money. And he's going to say, okay, there's no possible way he's not leaving. Give him 25 to 27 million a year. He's going to leave. And since he can't do that because they're going to have to pay Jamar Chase the next year.
Oh, they got to pay him. Yeah.
So, I think it's going to be Cincy over 49ers.
49ers. Okay, that's cool. Mine's gonna be real simple because both of y'all kind of covered the same type of teams. I really don't see, even though I see, it's gonna be interesting to see these teams get better. I think the Jets are getting better, but they have a kind of a tough schedule. The Jets do. I think the Jets are getting better. I think Miami's getting better, but at the end of the day, I still see Cincinnati and Kansas City battling out in the NFC Championship. Buffalo, I'm not sure about them. I definitely think they're regressing. Regression is on for them. But I'm gonna go with Cincy and and Kansas City. And until proven otherwise, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes beating them again. Until proven otherwise, this guy, we're gonna have to learn to not bet against this gentleman because last year he impressed me.
I bet against him
very
once.
impressed.
I bet against him twice.
Right.
I won. I bet against him when Brady was on them Patriots. I bet against him when Brady was on the Bucks.
Yeah.
Worked out well for me.
Right. I think he impressed me last year without Tyreek Hill and really showing what and actually with that injury, can't walk on one leg. This guy playing on one leg, all this stuff. He really impressed me. This guy's heart is unmatched. So I'm going with Patrick Mahomes going back to the Super Bowl, and unless he gets super injured, you can't even say if he gets injured because he still plays well, not well, but he still plays when he gets injured. Hey, no. And I'm gonna say on the other side, I'm calling rematch. I'm calling rematch, but this time, not that I'll never bet against Mahomes, but I think this time Jalen Hurts will beat Mahomes. So I'm calling a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts will this time get the win. And not, obviously the Eagles, not just Jalen Hurts, but they're 1 year better, 1 year smarter, older, more experienced. And I think that's when they're gonna go. That's my pick. So it'll be the Eagles again with the Niners, I think, as well. So Eagles beating the Niners again because Niners talking all that BS. Yeah, the Eagles beat them again. So that's my prediction. Rematch. Might be the easy route to say, but right now I haven't seen through the preseason and offseason. I haven't seen any team get better enough for me to say otherwise. To be honest, I'm still Purdy, the Miss Purdy. He's the the jury's still out on him for me. And like you said, Prime, he's coming off of a major injury. I want to see how they respond to that. That team is good enough though. But so there you have it, people. There's our predictions, and they're in there. I got the Eagles over the rematch over the Kansas City Chiefs. Heaven Hollywood has he had the Eagles too, right? He had the Eagles beating Cincinnati.
Yeah, Eagles over Cincy.
Right, and Prime, you have
Cincy over 49ers.
You had Cincy over the 49ers.
Nova just told me she has Eagles over Chiefs.
There you go. So there you go, people. Yeah, every Wednesday night we're going to be back doing our previews for the rest of the week for football. We'll also talk other sports as things come on. Basketball starting to heat up a little bit. But but right now it's all about football, baby. So we encourage you to watch the show every Wednesday. Check us out Wednesday nights. I think that's the best time to come out and do what we do. Comment on the bottom. Let us know, what are your picks? Who's your Final Four? Comment at the bottom. Make sure you make the comments. Make sure, of course, you smash that like button. Share this with your friends. And of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel.
Yes, sir.
This is the Sports Fanatic. I am your host, Wes Clark, aka the director, with my co-host, Heaven Hollywood, and of course, Wonder Kid Prime. We'll get at y'all next time. Peace out.